iOS 5 has lots of good new features, mostly involved with iCloud, which we'll get into in a few minutes. But first I'd like to talk about a few things in the software area that could stand to be improved, which I hope Apple will take to heart since they involve Apple-provided apps. You know, with the A5 processor, the iPad 2 and the iPhone 4S really provide an amazing amount of computing power, quite a bit more than the early Macs. So I wondered how usable the iPhone 4S would be as a desktop substitute. After all, you can easily connect to a monitor and a Bluetooth wireless keyboard. So here's my surrogate desktop. I've got the iPhone 4S connected through the digital AV adapter and the HDMI cable to a digital television. And I've got it paired with an Apple Bluetooth wireless keyboard. I can view the home screen no problem, but in desktop mode, the iPhone 4S really isn't as usable as it could be. As we've already seen, you can view videos and you can also peruse your iTunes music in landscape mode. By the way, HDMI provides flawless digital audio output as well. This all works very well because the apps involved support viewing content in landscape mode, which is mirrored on the display. But using the iOS version of iWork on the iPhone 4S is another matter. The iWork applications such as Pages are only viewable in portrait mode, and changing the orientation of the phone makes no difference. The view stays locked in portrait orientation. Staying locked in portrait mode makes for very poor utilization of the 1080p monitor screen real estate. Looking at the full document makes the text almost unreadable so that you have to zoom in to see what you're typing. By the way, this is not the case for the very same apps on the iPad. Similarly with numbers, you have to zoom in to be able to see what you're doing. Fortunately, with the wireless keyboard, you can use that for data entry and also navigate around the cells in the spreadsheet by using the arrow keys. These applications still work, but using them is so inconvenient that I doubt many will bother. I really hope Apple fixes this problem soon, since it doesn't exist on the iPad, and it really keeps the iPhone 4S from living up to its full computing potential. With iOS 5, Apple has added features to Safari, foremost among them tabbed browsing and reader. Unfortunately, due to a lack of screen real estate, tabbed browsing is only available for iPad. Reader seems like a really good idea for viewing web-based articles on the small Retina display, except that it often doesn't work right. The main problem is that subsequent article pages aren't always detected and brought into Reader. For instance, on Technomicon, none of the subsequent article pages are visible in Reader, since they're not really separate pages, but portions of the same page made visible through JavaScript functions. There seems to be very specific page construction requirements that the web designer must meet in order for Reader to work, but I doubt that web designers will be bending over backwards to meet those requirements, since Reader also renders their advertising invisible. Reader seems well-intentioned but misguided. Mobile web browsers for smartphones have performed a similar function to Reader for years by reformatting the web page to improve text legibility for the small screen. Usually, these mobile web apps don't try to eliminate the advertising or other graphics in the web page, and do try to minimize changes to the web page layout. Most of what's new and good about iOS 5 is iCloud related. iCloud is everywhere in iOS 5, from content management, personal information management and organization, push notifications, document sharing, and of course, Siri voice recognition and assistance. In this video segment, I'll be able to cover just some of the highlights. The first step you should take to make effective use of iCloud is to go to the iCloud settings section of the iOS Settings app. This settings panel shows you the iCloud-enabled apps on your device and allows you to pick and choose which apps will use iCloud. For instance, if you don't want your calendar shared over iCloud, all you have to do is turn it off. iCloud automatically pushes all your purchased content, apps, iTunes Music, and videos to all your devices, as well as keeps track of what you have bought. For instance, I bought a copy of Nancy Sinatra's Bang Bang a while back, which is used in Kill Bill Volume 1, because I wanted to learn to play that great guitar accompaniment in the song, and then lost it when I reinstalled the OS, Windows, on the system that was hosting iTunes at the time. I thought it was gone for good, but with iCloud, I'm now able to get that back into my collection.
I was 5 and he was 6. We rode on horses made of sticks. He wore black and I wore white. He would always win the fight. Bang, bang, he shot me down. Bang, bang.
Push notifications are also an iCloud service, and iOS 5 features an all-new Push Notification Center you can access anytime just by swiping from the top of the screen. Push notifications aren't just for baseball scores and weather alerts. They also show reminders and appointments from your Reminder app and calendar. For instance, I can set up a reminder to listen to a replay of the Microsoft earnings conference call today at 6:05. The reminder then appears in the Notification Center. At 6:05, the iPhone wakes up with a reminder on the lock screen. After going to the Reminder app, the reminder is cleared from the Notification Center. For many apps, information sharing among devices is almost effortless. Suppose I want to set up an appointment in my calendar. I just type in the appointment, and in a very short time, it appears on the iPhone. In this case, I got the start time wrong, so I'll make a slight change. Once again, the change appears very quickly on the iPhone. In some cases, data sharing over iCloud isn't quite so effortless. For instance, to share documents between the Mac and iOS versions of iWork, you have to go through some additional steps. Suppose I decide to type out a shopping list on my Mac, but I want to carry it to the store using my iPhone. I can type out the list in Pages, then share it with the Pages app in iOS using iCloud, but it's not automatic. You have to launch Apple's iCloud.com website, then drag the document onto the web page for the appropriate iWork app. After a short time, it will appear on your other iOS devices, assuming they also have the appropriate iWork app for iOS. It's very easy, but not quite effortless. Interestingly, sharing iWork documents created on an iOS device is automatic among your other iOS devices, but not back to macOS devices. My favorite iCloud feature by far is Siri. Siri really sold me on the value of cloud computing since it's primarily an artificial intelligence application hosted in the cloud. There's also a Siri app component built into iOS on the phone, but it's not clear what the division of labor is between the phone and cloud-based components of Siri. iPhone could be serving just as a remote microphone for a distantly hosted Siri iCloud app. Or it might be performing some degree of speech recognition in the phone. Who knows? In any case, the raw speech recognition works very well, and Siri performs well just taking dictation. You can dictate text in any application that shows a microphone button when the keyboard appears. This is a test of dictation in Pages. You can also get Siri whenever you want by just holding down the home button until the Siri icon appears. What appointments do I have for October 20th? You can ask Siri all sorts of questions, although Siri may not know the answer or give the right answer. What was Apple's stock price in after-hours trading? Siri heard the words correctly, but gave the wrong answer, just showing the closing price. I guess Siri needs to learn more about stock trading. Overall, I think iPhone 4S is the best smartphone on the market. There might be phones that are better than iPhone 4S in individual categories. For instance, a phone might have a better screen or a nicer camera. But no phone matches iPhone 4S for its combination of hardware, operating system, and application features, or the seamless way in which they're integrated. And this has been Technomicon's review of the iPhone 4S. I'm Mark Hibben, and thanks for watching.